Where are you going?
More of my clothes.
Still a stranger to her own body, a high school student discovers she has physical advantage when she becomes the object of male violence. She is attempted to be raped and her own doctor seems to take advantage of her. Things turn out ugly when her own stepbrother gets involved. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel. Dawn O'Keefe is a teenage spokesperson for a Christian group called The Promise in some small town. She attends group with her two friends, Alicia and Phil. One evening, after giving speech talking about the purity ring those in the group wear and what it means, she is introduced to Toby and finds him attractive. The four begin going out as a group, and Dawn has fantasies of marrying Toby. Although after acknowledging the attraction, they agree they cannot spend time together. One day, Dawn and Toby and their friends meet at a local swimming lake. After swimming together, Dawn and Toby go into the cave to get warm and begin kissing upon the ledge. Dawn gets uncomfortable and tries to get them to go back. Toby then attempts to force sex on Dawn, who panics and tries to push him off. Toby becomes aggressive and shakes Dawn, resulting in her smacking her head on the ground. While she's recovering, Toby takes this as his chance to begin raping her. Dawn fights back and bites off his penis with her teeth. Horrified, he stumbles away and screams in horror at her, causing her to scream in shock as well and back away from him. When he abruptly goes to the edge of the landing and drops out of sight, she flees the scene. After a promised meeting, she meets her classmate Ryan at a dance. They talk and he drops her off at her house. Dawn drops her purity ring off a cliff and even goes back to the swimming hole, only causing her to scream in horror because a freshwater crab was crawling on Toby's penis. She then researches the so-called myth of teeth in her vagina and realizes she may have it. Then she visits a doctor, Dr. Godfrey, in an attempt to find out what is happening to her. Finding out that she has never visited the doctor before, he takes advantage of her and molests her under the pretense of performing a test. Crying out in pain, she panics and her reproductive tank claps down his hand. There's a bizarre and awful struggle as the man twists her around trying to get his hand out, and when he's finally released, she flees that his fingers have been amputated. On her way back, she sees a police officer driving Toby's car, who demands that she pull over to the side of the road on her bike. After she decides to go back to visit the lake to investigate. When she gets there, she sees the police bringing up Toby's dead body. At home, Dawn's ill mother, Kim, collapses. Dawn's brutal and misogynist stepbrother, Brad, and his girlfriend, Melanie, ignore her and continues to have sex where she lies on the floor. Kim is taken to the hospital. Dawn goes to Ryan seeking help and the two successfully have sex. Ryan gives her sedative and they use a sex toy. Though initially afraid she will hurt him, Dawn learns that when she is relaxed and is consenting to the sexual activity taking place, her teeth do not engage. The following morning they have sex again, but mid-coitus, Ryan's friend calls. Ryan smugly boasts that he and the friend had bet on whether he could score with Dawn. In her anger and shock, her hidden fangs clamp down on him and mutilate his penis. When she realizes what happened, she cures and abruptly leaves him, traumatized and bleeding, to hold his groin and calls his mother for help. Dawn goes to the hospital where she learns her mother has died, and after her stepfather, Bill, attempts to throw Brad out, Brad sets his dog on Bill and mangles him. Dawn meets her stepfather and Melanie at the hospital, and after hearing Melanie explain that she heard her mother screaming but Brad told her it was not a big deal, she goes back home to seek revenge. At the hospital, Dr. Godfrey is seen going into surgery to have his four fingers reattached to his hand, and afterwards Ryan is also there to have his penis reattached. Meanwhile, Dawn puts on makeup and goes to her stepbrother and they engage in sex. In the middle of the act, Brad recalls when he was younger and his finger was bitten by Dawn, that it wasn't her mouth that bit him. As he realizes this, Dawn's vagina bites off his penis. She releases it on the ground and Brad's dog eats it, spitting out the gland and genital piercing. Dawn leaves him to bleed to death. Dawn gets on her bicycle and cycles away from home and out of town to search for a new life for herself. But her bike tire sustains a puncture, so she begins hitchhiking to go on the run from the law. She gets a lift from a leering old man, but that evening when she reaches the next nearest gas station and tries to get out, he locks the door. The dirty old man licks his lip as if to ask for a sexual favor to release her. Don hesitates and then looks towards the camera and the old man with the sinister smile. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comment section below which movie you want us to recap next. As always, until the next time.